Okay, so I told you about in a previous video that I used sentence completion to discover my limiting belief, which was I'll let them down and they'll hate me, right, if I go to sleep. And this is how I disprove that belief. See, and luckily around that time, I had been reading about creating a mismatch experience in your emotional brain, or something that disproves the limiting belief. And I said, okay, well, what have I experienced that's different than this? That's a key question. What have I experienced that's different than that they let me down, or that disproves that they hate me and I let them down? And I realized, oh my gosh, there was tons of stuff that disproved that. I thought, okay, the first thing that came into my mind was an experience. Remember, it's an experience that you need to disprove it. An experience that I had had earlier that year in the season when I'd fought and tried really hard, and I ended up losing the match, but my coaches praised me in front of the whole wrestling team, and they thought that I was, for my braveness and for my courage and for fighting so hard and my persistence, even though I got my butt kicked, kind of. And so I thought, how could they hate me and feel like I let them down when they're also praising me to the rest of the team? Like, I had never held those two ideas together at the same time. I never even realized that I thought that they hated me in the first place. That's the first problem. But I never really sat and put those two together, those two experiences together. And when I did, I realized, they don't hate me at all. They don't hate me at all. That's just totally crazy. Another thing that I remembered was that my coaches gave me an award at the end of the year called the Coaches Award, right? Which basically is an award given for the person who fights the hardest and who's got the most heart. We'll put it that way. And they gave that to me. And so I was realizing that there were just more than a couple major experiences that really disproved the way that I felt. So I realized while I was processing all of this that my coaches, they didn't feel disappointed in me. They felt disappointed for me. You see, my coaches felt like they knew how hard I had worked going into that season. And so they actually felt disappointed, yes, but not because I had let them down, but because they were disappointed for me. They were bummed out that I got hurt and I wasn't able to do as best as I could. So that was a huge shift in my, in that story. And the internal story, the old story, I realized just wasn't even accurate. It wasn't true at all. And I needed to hold it up and sort of shine a light on a different experience that disproved it for me to really process that. And the end result is that I was able to sleep. I fell asleep that night, and I felt this relaxation and this calmness in my body. And that I've never again struggled with that particular belief. I've had other beliefs come up, but never again that particular belief that when I bring on a new coaching client, I'm going to let them down and they're going to hate me and hate us. Never again have I had to deal with that. And that's really the power of understanding these processes, is you can free yourself from things that had been plaguing me for years in a matter of a short period of time when you really know what you're doing and when you really apply the process the right way. How's that?
Very good. Very good.